Okay, let's unpack this. April 30, 2025. That date really marked a historic inflection point for animal agriculture.
Absolutely. Gene-edited livestock went from sci-fi to, well, commercial reality.
The CRISPR Farmyard revolution, as some are calling it, has officially begun.
And what's fascinating, I think, is how it all comes together. You've got these precise gene editing tools, like CRISPR.
Right.
Then there's huge economic pressure from animal diseases and, of course, the background hum of climate change.
It's a perfect storm, converging to reshape our food supply. So today, we're exploring what this massive shift really means for you.
Exactly. And CRISPR is central. It's not like the old GMO methods, adding foreign DNA.
No. How's it different then?
Well, think of CRISPR as like molecular scissors. It allows for incredibly precise, targeted edits within an animal's own genetic code.
So you're working with what's already there.
Precisely. It's more like super fast, highly specific breeding, getting beneficial traits in maybe one generation, not, centuries.
Okay, give us an example. What's actually happening on the ground?
Right, so take the PRRS-proof pig. Genus PLC developed this.
PRS, that's the porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome.
That's the one. Costs the U.S. pork industry, get this, $1.2 billion a year. Massive losses.
Wow, okay. So what did CRISPR do?
Scientists used it to make a tiny deletion in a specific gene, CD163. It basically removes the door handle the virus uses to get into the pig cells.
So no handle, no entry.
No entry, no infection. These pigs are just, well, inherently resistant now.
And $0.2 billion saved potentially.
Yeah.
That's huge. What does that do for the industry beyond just stopping that one disease?
Well, it points towards a more resilient supply chain. Less reliance on antibiotics, maybe fewer mass calls, and hopefully better animal welfare overall.
Okay, so disease resistance is one angle. What else?
Climate adaptation is another big one. Excelogen developed a slick coat cow. Yeah, it sounds funny, but heat stress is a massive problem for dairy. Costs the U.S. industry another $2.5 billion annually.
$2.5 billion, just from cows getting too hot.
It massively impacts milk production. So Excelogen used CRISPR to introduce a naturally occurring gene variant, the PRRS gene mutation.
And that does what?
It gives the cows shorter, slicker hair, helps them dissipate heat much more effectively, stay cooler, produce more milk.
It sounds really compelling, using this tech to reduce suffering from heat or disease. But there's a catch, isn't there?
There is a paradox, yes. The R&D process itself, it can involve significant animal suffering.
How so?
Well, creating these edits often involves numerous attempts. There can be high rates of birth defects in early trials, invasive procedures for the research animals. It's complex.
That's a tough ethical knot to untangle. Aiming for less suffering long-term, but causing some of the short-term. How are regulators handling this?
That's been a major shift. For years, the FDA treated any intentional gene edit in an animal as a new animal drug.
Which sounds slow and expensive.
Extremely. But in 2022, they created a new pathway, a low-risk determination for edits that mimic naturally occurring mutations.
Ah, like the slick coat gene you mentioned.
Exactly. That slick coat cow, it went through this faster pathway. It signaled a viable route to market, which was huge.
So was this FDA pivot just about the science, or was the U.S. maybe looking over its shoulder globally?
Oh, definitely strategic. The EU is still very restrictive, treating these edits like old-school GMOs.
Right.
But then you have countries like Brazil, Argentina. They're much more permissive. They're fast-tracking approvals if there's no foreign DNA involved.
So a global patchwork of rules.
Yeah, and that really influences where the research money and the investment flows. The U.S. clearly wants to stay competitive.
And the market noticed when that PRRS pig got the green light.
Genus PLC shares jumped 30%, added almost £500 million to their value overnight.
Wow. So this isn't just about science or welfare. It's serious business, solving billion-dollar problems.
Absolutely. And building resilience against, climate shocks, supply chain issues. It's all connected.
Which brings up a really important question. Who actually benefits here? Is this a tool for all farmers?
Or does it drive more consolidation? That's the fear. Will patents mean only the big corporations can afford it, pushing smaller farms out?
That debate is raging, right?
Yeah.
The public conversation seems really polarized.
It is. It cuts right to core values. Proponents talk up less animal suffering, fewer antibiotics, climate resilience, food security.
All sounds good. But the critics?
They raise flags about unforeseen ecological impacts, the whole Franken fear, plus concerns about corporate control and the ethics of playing God.
So with these strong feelings, how does this play out for us, for consumers? What about labeling?
Labeling. That's a major battleground. Organic producers like duBreton pork, they're demanding mandatory labels.
For transparency.
Right. They argue consumers have a right to know, and it protects the integrity of, say, organic standards.
Makes sense. What's the counter-argument?
The industry often says, look, if the final product is genetically identical to conventional meat, same DNA, same proteins, then a special label is actually misleading. It implies a difference that isn't there.
It really boils down to trust, doesn't it?
Completely. Building public trust through transparency is absolutely critical.
Looking ahead then, what's next in the pipeline? This isn't stopping with pigs and cows, is it?
Not at all. R&D is humming. Think pigs resistant to African swine fever, another devastating disease.
Okay.
Hornless cattle, which would eliminate the painful dehorning process. Cows engineered to produce less methane.
Reducing the climate impact.
Exactly. Even work on hypo-allergenic foods, like milk people with allergies can drink. The long-term vision is even bigger.
How so?
Stacking edits, combining multiple beneficial traits into one animal line, designing resilient food systems almost from the ground up.
Intentionally designed animals.
With precise traits for health, sustainability, productivity, the potential is just immense.
Yeah.
Reducing environmental impact while maybe even improving animal well-being.
So, wrapping this up, the implications for you listening right now and for our food future, they're clearly massive.
Huge. And the path this CRISPR revolution takes really hinges on public trust, on transparency.
Will it be seen as this beacon of sustainable progress, solving real problems for animals, for the planet?
Or will it hit the same wall of public resistance that earlier GMOs faced?
It feels like we're at a crossroads. And how you understand this science, how we all discuss it, that's going to shape which path we take. Something to think about.